My name is Kaat De Corte and I'm Belgian. I'm currently 17 and I'm going to Harvard in the fall for undergraduate studies. I haven't completely decided, but I think I'll probably major in biochemical or biomedical engineering, maybe to go into medicine later. I lived in the United States before for 3 years, 7th through 9th grade. So having that experience, I knew I wanted to study internationally, but I came back to Belgium and then I started an international baccalaureate program at the British school. And so that gave me all the opportunities to fulfill the requirements for the US, because in Belgian school it's more difficult. It's a different system. In America, the school system, it's more integrated. Sports, music are part of going to school, whereas here in Belgium, only lessons. You only go to lessons. You only have lessons in school, and it's not part of your life. Generally, well, the school I went to, everyone loved going to school, whereas here it's very different. So I wanted to go back to that system because it educates the whole person and you have an experience as a whole person, especially because I'm very involved with music and dance as well. I've played violin for 14 years now, so I want to continue to play in an orchestra and do concerts. And also the international environment that's present in a place like Harvard, I really like listening to others' ideas and perspectives, and it's just very interesting to see what everyone thinks. And it also, to solve a problem, whether for a lesson or more globally, it's the different perspectives really help. I also applied to some universities in the UK through UCAS, which is the universal system, and that makes it easier in some ways but more difficult in other ways, because if you don't follow the regular procedures and don't fit into the boxes, there's no way to let the universities know what you have done. The UK has advantages, big advantages financially because it's subsidized, but it's very similar to continental European universities in the way that you go in having chosen a subject, whereas in the US you go in for the experience of the university and deciding on your major comes later, and you can still take courses from several fields. So that's the main difference between the countries. Well, why Harvard? I applied to 5 universities in the US, 3 of them in the Ivy League, but I looked at what kind of environment, what the school was like. I didn't want something too big. I was aiming high, so well, I applied and then got into 4 out of the 5, so I was very happy with that. I didn't expect to get into that many. From living in the US, I knew that you had to start early and prepare, and really from the start of high school, so 9th grade or here 3rd year of secondary school, you have to start thinking about where you want to go and what you will need, and start preparing for SAT. And not being American citizen or having as a native language English, you have to take Toefl as well. Having lived in the States and now going to British school, the Toefl, the English proficiency level wasn't really a problem for me, so I didn't do preparation for that. But for the SAT, I took a course over 2 weekends here in Brussels at the American school to get used to the questions and to to do some practice exams. One thing that's very different from Belgian system is that the SAT has a timed essay, and essays are not part of the curriculum here, and you should really prepare for that. And 25 minutes is a short time to write a good essay, so if you want to do well, you'll have to do some practice. Other tips for the SAT: get used to the multiple choice. In America, it's more used on tests as a question than it's used here. So there are some techniques you can use to make it easier on the test day. Being Belgian and having moved, I was a special case, let's say, in the application process, and then it was very important to document everything, and whatever transcripts from school I had here in Belgium were in Dutch, so they have to be translated and have to be certified. And that's very important that you're organized and you keep track of everything. So I made a folder with several tabs to include with my application. And my school now helped as well to get everything together. But and for the visa application as well, you have to check everything, double check and triple check, because if you don't follow the rules, you automatically are scrapped from the list and won't get any further with the applications either. Yeah. Another tip for Belgian students is that the essays in your application for most undergraduate schools, it'll be the common application. Prepare well, to have some trial essays, and then try to have someone who knows something about essays and how they're written for American universities read, but it has to still be you. You can't have it overcorrected by others. It's important that your personality still shows through. Another component of your application that's very important when you apply to the US is the extracurricular activities, and to make sure that you have broader interests than just your academics. You want to be a whole person and not be concentrated just in one field. So do a sport, music, but also community service, and this is a very important part of your application. To give back to your community with the talents you have is very important, and it shows that you care and try to improve the world situation for everyone. Something I always try to keep in mind when it's a long process or it's difficult is words from Eleanor Roosevelt, that the future belongs to those who believe in the power of their dreams. Or iets dat Eleanor Roosevelt heeft gezegd, dat de toekomst aan diegenen behoort die geloven in de kracht van hun dromen.